If you didn't first hear it in like middle school, it's not. It's probably
I was gonna say. Sixth grade was when I.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the real Slim Shady or whatever.
Oh yeah,
like his first couple hit songs. I mean, I loved
at the time.
Yeah,
it was like.
But I also loved "Pretty Fly for a White Guy" or whatever that song is called by Offspring at the same time.
We all did.
Yeah, and I also liked Creed. I mean, so this is like the stuff.
Yeah.
This is
the Holy Trinity. The Holy Trinity of shitty.
With arms wide open.
Hey everybody, welcome to Pursuing Pixels. This is episode number 49, and my name's Kevin Portelli, and I'm here tonight with Randall Nolery.
Hey everybody.
And John Hines.
Hi there.
And we're back again to talk about some more video games as always. And I think John and Randall are both still playing some Animal Crossing.
Yes.
And I think why don't we just toss the ball over to John right off the bat, because he's, I believe, seen the credits and then some.
Yeah.
I
put in
why don't you lay into us, John?
Into this game.
Have you looked at the hours? How many hours just before we even get going?
The last time I looked, because I snoop on you guys all the time, the last time I looked, John was at 65 hours, but this was probably about a week ago.
Yes.
Last time I peaked.
I was going to say 65 sounds like a healthy amount.
Yeah. And that's not to mention, because I know you mentioned you play on Lauren's file once in a while as well. So.
Oh, that's true.
Anyways.
Yeah, no, Lauren and I do have our own separate files, but like Lauren is mostly just there to get more outfits and decorate her house more, and she doesn't really do anything else besides that. And we take cute photos together, which is basically the point of the game.
Okay, I want to ask about that right before we even get into anything else. Do you guys have two Switches?
Yeah. We do not.
How are you doing that?
So there is an option that you can invite players onto your island, and you can also call people, like if you have two players who are on the same island, you can there's an app in the Nook phone that you can call over another person and they just have a second controller.
Dang it, I'm so dumb. We could have been doing that the whole time.
But I will say it does cut down on the things that because one player is the leader and the other player is the follower, or you can have as many people that would be on the island and they would be the followers, but the leader basically can play the game as normal and the follower has so much taken out. Like they basically can't access a menu.
Oh, geez.
And like, so I think you can probably still like access your tool wheel if you have that unlocked. But at least when I was playing with Lauren, like she was going around collecting a lot of things. And then like at some point, like she switched over to being the leader and we went into her inventory and none of the things she picked up were there. And that's because they went to the community recycling box that's in the residence services building, which is such a weird mechanic. I don't get why it doesn't just go to the individual person. Because if you're playing with like, I don't know, if you have like 4 people on your island, then nothing any individual player picks up will go to their inventory. It will go to that box.
That's so
But
strange.
you can still acquire it after the fact. It's just like a tedious process.
Yeah, and like let's say like each person like is getting specific things, or like the box can only hold so many items. Like once you reach that limit, the oldest item gets booted. So
okay. So it doesn't say your inventory's full. It just kicks.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So luckily we had like finished our joint session before we had reached that limit, but that still was like a whole process of like she had to go in like after we had finished playing and like transfer everything.
Now I know what that recycle box is for, because I'm like, why can't I just put things in this? Like, I have stuff that has some value, but I don't care that much. But if I put it in here, maybe a neighbor or like Tina could use this, but I can't put stuff in. But that makes sense.
Yeah, and like also the item transferring between residents on the island. Like I used to, what I would do is I used to like send them in the mail to Lauren so that she would get it, and that sending one item at a time at 200 bells a pop.
Yep.
Like, I was just like, you know what? I am just going to leave this outside of her house.
Same.
Like, just drop on the ground and then load up her file and pick it up just so that, like, it doesn't get missed or anything. And at least that's nice enough that, like, it doesn't, you know, the items don't disappear in between log sessions. So you can turn the game off and, like, it will be there again, which is nice, but still, like, there's so many little things. Like, I'm nitpicking now because I have nothing but praise to say otherwise.
I was just going to say, I was expecting you to gush.
I will, but, like, the fact that you can't multi-craft any item is absurd. Like,
what do you mean by multi-craft?
So an item that you use a lot, I may have even mentioned this on the first episode, like, where you'll get fish bait, where it's you collect one clam and you can turn it into bait to catch fish, and it's just a 1-to-1. One clam equals one bait, and if you have 10 clams, you have to individually select that crafting in the menu 10 times, watch the animation for crafting it 10 times, see the text like chain that says it's so maddening that, like, so much they've done so much. There's a thing that Nintendo does with a lot of their first party games where I have a sneaking suspicion that they, like, deliberately choose things not to streamline so that future entries in a series will have something that they can fix.
I could see
there's so many things.
Do you think it's that, or do you think it's because because sometimes I wonder if it's like they treat almost every video game, Nintendo, like it is. I guess a lot of games do this, but they treat it like it's the first game you've ever played in your life. Like, it's like teaching you this is what a video game is, and then this is like it can be fair, the tutorial process can be a little bit tedious. Although then in stuff like Breath of the Wild, they've kind of changed their tune.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I don't know. This is coming from someone who's played Breath of the Wild like 10 times. That intro sequence is still pretty tutorial heavy.
But, like, did it feel like that the first time though? Like, it felt like such an I don't know. It
Not
just
the
felt
first
like
time, but the 10th time.
Yeah. But I guess, like, I don't know, when you boot up some. Well, we'll get into this later. But anyways, everything that you guys have mentioned so far, I know when we talked about this game on the last episode, I was like, I think I might get this game. I'm really glad I personally didn't pick it up. I'm not going to bash on it or anything, because I'm glad a lot of people are, like, loving this game, and I love, like, scrolling through Twitter or Instagram and just seeing it. I mean, it's like the cutest game in the world. I mean, I love seeing it and hearing the sounds, and it's super charming, but the more I hear about it and the more I see, I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying it. I'm loving how much everyone's loving this game, and I'm loving that Nintendo has another hit on their hands, but I don't think it's for me personally.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm honestly glad that you didn't pick it up, because I think that this is the exact amount of enjoyment that you will get out of the game, is, like, watching other people play it.
Like how cute it is. Yeah.
And, like, I think that it would probably, like, bum me out if, like, you picked it up and were disappointed with it. And then I would just be like, man, I wish Kevin liked this game, but
I know.
Now I just have this pristine version.
And that's honestly kind of how I feel. Like, it's like, I don't want to get this game and then just be disappointed and feel like I got to shit on it and stand my ground and whatever. It's like, I just want to just enjoy like what I enjoy about it. Is like, I love how cute it is. And like, I don't know, maybe if I ever see like a little stuffed animal of Tom Nook or something, maybe I'll pick that up, and that's about as far as my enjoyment goes with Animal Crossing. But continue on. I want to hear more about, like, you know, I know you've done a little nitpicking, but I want to hear more about like what really is sucking you guys into this game.
Well, yeah, I want to hear, Randall, what's been your day to day in the game.
And it is the thing I love is it is day to day. Like both Tina and I log into Animal Crossing like literally every single day. And see what the latest is. Go pick up the fossils, or half the time at this point, goddamn Earth eggs.
Oh man, we can get into
that. Like the cherry blossoms are pretty and stuff, but yeah,
that was a thing that surprised me. The cherry blossoms, I loved that.
I know, it's so pretty, right? Like that's really cool, and
it's
like,
a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game.
It is. It's a gorgeous game, and you know, like most Nintendo properties, like visually, a lot of them kind of hit their template around the GameCube era and just kind of refined it from there. But, it still looks great, so that's not a problem.
They've just kind of smoothed things out, basically.
Yeah. But no, we played every single day. But I have my own nitpick on that point that I kind of want to get into, even though obviously I played every day. I love this game. But
pick it apart. Just pick it apart,
Let's
guys.
do it.
So I knew I was going to be into this game because I've been playing the Animal Crossing games since the first GameCube one. But Tina had never really played Animal Crossing before, so I'm like, "Oh, here we go! Like this is a perfect opportunity. Everyone's on quarantine anyway. We got the time, and it's such a good game for that too, right? Just to like relax and chill out with." But so she started playing it, and she got really into it, and now she's got like double the hours I do. But because she wasn't the lead player, she can't move the progression of the island along. And like they're like, "Oh, talk to Randall." I talked to him about getting the materials. Like,
jeez.
No, why can't we both support this if we're both playing the game and you're forcing us to be on the same island? We would have picked to be on the same island anyway, so that's fine. But why can't she, find the materials and donate? Like, she literally couldn't even donate the materials outside of the houses for the new neighbors we were getting. Like, why not? Like, I don't understand what the roadblock is there, or what the mentality was, or maybe it's just a programming thing, but like, why can't I at least transfer like the primary duties to her?
Yeah.
And I would have been fine
that
being
would
a
be
secondary.
nice. Yeah.
Like it's frustrating. I don't know.
Yeah, like, and I was wondering if you guys were gonna get into that before, like, because again, Lauren has been playing it, but like only in that like secondary role. So like,
sure,
we're not really running into that. Like, she doesn't even care about getting like as many like DIY recipes as me.
Yeah.
So like that like is not a progression that she's interested in. So like it's fine that she's getting less, but like even at this point, like when we're both however many weeks in, like she can't construct a ladder. Like and like that's a core mechanic of the game.
Yep.
And I don't know how she could at this point, and like she doesn't need to because like I gave her one.
Right.
But like that's such a puzzling choice on like why that was the case.
Yeah, there's a lot of those type of roadblocks too. I had similar experiences like trying to get Tina some iron ore when like, how is she going to get the tools to be able to get the iron ore?
Right.
If like I was handed one, I think at the beginning, or was able to buy one or something. And then like that was fine, but she didn't get that opportunity. So how does that work? Like,
yeah.
Silly. But the game is great. Like there's just these weird nitpicks and weird design choices that are frustrating. Like we've been past it, and like now just today the like, what is it, the resident what do they call that, the resident
services?
Yeah, resident services building is like upgraded. Like we're that far behind you. But like it's a big deal, right? Like every day there's little things like that. So
yeah, I'm at the point in progression of where like there isn't really any new things that happen. I haven't done any. I'm not as hardcore a gamer as the people who are doing the time travel.
Oh no, I don't want to do that.
That is like, I don't know, not
that ruins
upsetting,
the experience.
But like it just doesn't seem right for me. It's people who like, instead of waiting for the 24 hours to elapse for like the game to progress, they will reset advance the timer on their Switch.
Yeah,
like change the time zone and stuff.
I don't like that one bit.
And it's just I can't understand why you would want to do that on a game that has a finite amount of content.
Yes,
like
that's the
you're
point.
just going to run out of stuff like until they either patch in the next holiday or do the next thing. Like we're already like, I think 4 versions in. Like they've been updating it pretty frequently.
Yeah,
so,
they patched the crap out of it.
But it's a pretty paced out experience, for the most part. Like your day to day, like there's kind of a limit. Yeah.
Yeah. Like today was the first day that I met Label, the third Mabel sister or Abel sister. And that was a whole new mechanic that I didn't know about. Oh, sorry about that. But that was
spoilers for Animal Crossing.
I was very happy that the Abel sisters made an appearance in this game because that was one of my favorite things in New Leaf was going up to Sable every day and getting her to like open up and be, instead of being shy, like finally talking to me, and that was a very meaningful experience.
That's
for me.
so cute.
Like,
that's awesome.
But yeah, like I'm at the point now at the game where there's not a ton of new content, but I'm just, taking each day, like the limitations of like turning this into my very OCD urban planning mind of I figured out the exact like lot size for every person. I've made roads that go, and I'm moving every person's house so that they go into the exact corner that they should be so that it looks correct.
Do you take their input into account with that?
They trust me.
Yeah.
I've only moved one villager so far, and Tank was fine with it. He said, wherever John thinks, that's great.
Oh, nice. They've got faith in you.
Yeah.
A wise man once told me.
But
that's great.
I'm loving, every day, wake up at, 8 o'clock, which is just when Timmy and Tommy's ready, and I play until 9, which is when the Able sisters open up.
Were you able to cash out on turnips? Did you get a good price?
I got it. So like, I'm pretty conservative when it comes to the stock market in real life.
Yeah.
So like, I got my turnips for 97 bells this Sunday, and they were in the 70s up until I think either today or yesterday. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
When it finally broke 100, and I was just like, you know what? Cashing out.
Good enough.
Made a slight profit.
Yep.
And I'm done.
Yeah, I think I hit like 140 buying at like 106 or something. So yeah, nothing too crazy, but
yeah,
still something.
Yeah. And I did find out that in order to get either ants or flies, you need to have a rotten turnip.
Oh,
so
okay.
I will be buying a special 10 just so that I can let them rot in a week.
That's pretty funny, actually.
That's great. It's a good game. It's such a ritual. It's a very comforting ritual.
It does seem like go ahead.
No,
Sorry,
it's just a lifestyle experience, and like obviously that's what they crafted, and it's so much fun. Like for Tina and I to talk about like, oh, what happened today? Like, oh, did you get this? Did you see this? Oh, they opened up. They've got this special item just for today, or this is the hot item today to sell for double. Like all that stuff is just so much fun to experience with somebody else.
Yeah. Like even though I know I said it wasn't for me earlier, but like it does sound like when John was talking about like I get up at 8, and like it does sound like the perfect game for like I made a cup of coffee and sipping on this while I just kind of ease into the morning.
It
especially with right now, depending on I know some people are working more than usual. If you're in the healthcare business and whatnot, you're probably working more than normal. But a lot of us are also staying at home and trying to do our part in that regard.
Absolutely.
So. Definitely seems like the perfect game for keeping you occupied.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But speaking of those OCD tendencies, John, I did finish up Wilmot's Warehouse, which kind of, I will say, ended a little bit abruptly. It shows like as you play the game, you're kind of, I talked about it a couple weeks ago or maybe last week. I think it was last week. But you kind of like you're just basically organizing the products in this warehouse, and every 3-day cycle or whatever, you're getting a new like 4 thing, or actually I think every day you're getting 4 new products added to your potential inventory. Jeez. And it's pretty free form, and you're just kind of able, it's like a top down game, and you're just kind of able to organize things as you see fit. Everything's really like colorful. I know we kind of talked about like I ended up organizing things by color mostly. And basically as soon as you get to like the day where you get your 200th product, your 200th like different thing, which it was starting to get a tiny bit overwhelming at that point. As soon as you hit that point, it's just like the game just ends, and it's just like, okay, you won. Did you get to that point, John?
No, I think I didn't mean to like halfway.
Oh, okay, I didn't mean to spoil that. Sorry, it's not like it's not necessarily like a spoiler, but it's just like, oh, you know how you get that little robot Borky that can help you out and like organize stuff, which I would just turn off always. It would just always move stuff nowhere near where I wanted it. But anyways, it's supposed to be kind of like an AI that moves things for you, but it wasn't understanding my systems.
Your system just wasn't good enough.
Maybe not, but it worked for me.
I saw your system and it was just like, what the fuck do I put
this? Like, this doesn't make any sense. These are all the same color. But anyways, so I would just kind of shut him down. But anyways, the game kind of ends when you get to the 200th product, and it was just kind of abrupt. I was like looking forward to like, oh, I hope it like I hope this game will just keep going, and I'll like have to manage like deliveries and like how to keep this warehouse like. I don't know. I just had this like fantasy of like this was almost like going to be like my lifestyle game to like wake up in the morning, sip some coffee, and just like organize my warehouse, you know?
So there's not even like an endless mode?
No, there is a challenge mode, or an expert mode, which is available from the beginning, and you can actually switch at any point, which basically like you have your stock days, which are every 3 days. You get like an unlimited time sequence that you can just kind of take time to organize. You can limit that, or you can even take it away completely. You have like three options, and then you can like make it like a 10-minute time limit, or just take it away. And then I think you can make it so that like when you get your orders from your coworkers, you can make it so that you can only see those when you're up by the counter, and then when you run away from that, like it won't stay up at the top of the screen, like in your UI. And then I can't remember what the other option was, but there were just like a few modes, and it was just like you could tweak each of the individual option, and then you can change it as you play. But it wasn't anything that I was overly enticed to do personally,
right?
But I really had a really good time playing the game, but it was just a little bit of a bummer that it just kind of ended and didn't have, like you said, like I would love like an endless mode of this game, and I don't know exactly how it would even work, but yeah, I just like the idea of it. I was enjoying just the ritual of playing it. So
because there's also but there's not really a fail state, is there?
I don't know.
No, I mean, I never approached anything. I never did. Yeah,
I just kind of. I mean, I felt overwhelmed and stuff, but yeah, I mean, I am a pretty good gamer, but
yeah.
No, I feel like the stress of it is basically the, I don't know, danger like of the game, like, and but then like once you get to that like stock day, like then that is the release of the stress.
Yeah, so it's like it's a good ebb and flow between like the tension and then like, okay, now I can just like let the OCD kick in and like no time pressure.
Yeah, right. I kind of wasn't expecting like the game to end once you.
I wasn't at all. Yeah, yeah, I wasn't at all. But still really enjoyed it, and it took me, I put probably 8 to 10 hours or so in, so it's like a pretty decently long experience. But
yeah, if you're getting 4 per day, then that's like 50 days that you have to like, so it's like 50 levels or so.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a good chunk. It's a super fun game. I don't want to take anything away from it. I know we're just kind of so far just nitpicking throughout this episode on games that we really like, but
yeah, games we love.
But I guess if you don't have anything more to add on Wilmots, John, I can move on to another game that I beat again.
Yeah,
I'm on fire here, but I just beat Pikuniku, which was on sale on the Switch recently for super cheap. I think for like $1.
$1, yeah.
But I actually was playing it on Xbox Game Pass, which it was added to recently as well, which is $10 a month, and I had that included with that, so I was already a member of that. So I played through that, and it was a pretty short experience. I actually had texted our buddy Glenn, who recently got a Switch when it was on sale, and him and his girlfriend Becky have been playing some games here and there, and I was like, hey, this game's on sale for $1. You should check it out. And then she texted me and was like, hey, I played all the way through Pikuniku. It was awesome.
Nice.
I really liked it a lot, and I was like, oh, I should actually play more of that. I had played maybe like 30 minutes, just played through the opening little bit, and it's a side-scrolling 2D platformer with a little bit of like physics going on.
Yeah.
Like it's not a super precise.
They got big old legs.
Yeah, like huge legs, which actually it works really well. Yeah, and you can hold down like your run button, which makes you just kind of roll a little bit faster along, and it's like just really like clean art style. Yeah, really cute and a really charming story too. Like you're kind of like this, like honestly, it feels pretty reminiscent of things going on right now. Now I'm not going to get into that, but it's just like you're going into like. There's like this Sunshine Corporation that like comes in and it's just like stealing all the corn from the people in this village, and they're like, but they give us a bunch of free money. It's all good. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, hey, actually, we're pretty hungry. We don't have any corn anymore. Yeah. And then you get to like the next little, and you like rescue them from, you kind of beat these giant robots and fight them off. It's kind of this like dystopian future, even though it's super bright and colorful. Like it almost looks like crayons, but like, you just slowly find out, this is kind of what's going on here. It's like it is a little bit story driven,
That's cool.
But I would say I only put like 3 or 4 hours in, and then like all of a sudden the game just ends like truly out of nowhere. Like it feels like it's this kind of like climax that's like teasing like, oh, this is going to be like a fake climax, and then there's like more to the game.
Yeah.
And then it like all of a sudden is just like, oh, it's over. It was like the weirdest ending. Like Glenn and Becky had even mentioned to me that like, hey, the game just kind of ends out of nowhere, and I was even expecting it, and even still was just like, what the hell was that? And there's like not really anything to do after the game. So I mean, I had a really fun time playing it, and for either $1 or free on Game Pass, or the game's only like $12 normally, but I will say it did feel like a little bit of a limited experience. But there was some super clever puzzles, some cool it's more of a puzzle platformer, a little bit of exploration going on.
Yeah.
There is a co-op mode, which is more like, I think it is more of like those puzzle platforming, like it's totally different levels. I think there's like 10 or 12 levels.
Wow.
So maybe that does flesh out the experience a little more. You know, it's only couch co-op. I did not get a chance to try that since I'm quarantining solo here.
Right.
But I mean, I had a great time playing it. It's super charming. The music has been stuck in my head ever since.
Nice.
So I'm not trying to bash on the game again. I'm just nitpicking again. But I had a good time playing it, but it felt like it could have been something really special.
Left you wanting more.
You know, yeah. Like and again, like the co-op stuff, I'm sure would be fun, but like I was kind of sucked into like the adventure that was going on, and then it just so abruptly ended that I was a little bit disappointed in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But again, I can hardly complain about playing a game for free via Game Pass.
And you beat it. You completed it.
Yeah, and I beat it. At least beat the I didn't find every little secret, you know, but again, I'm not Mr. 100% anymore, so I'm not Mr. Perfect, as you would say. So, but yeah, again, I can't complain, but it's definitely a good game and that I recommend checking out.
Nice.
So, and from Devolver Digital, who's a pretty great indie publisher.
Yeah.
I think they have a pretty solid track record at this point.
They don't mind putting out that weird stuff, which is great.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely recommended. Like if I would just say at the end of the day, if you look at the game, like if you watch a trailer and you think it looks charming, you know, if you see it on sale for a decent price, I'd say it's worth it, you know.
Nice.
I don't want to come off overly negative on that, but John, I know a few weeks ago, probably a couple weeks ago, at least at this point, you and I did a little digging through the Super Nintendo online service, and we were messing around since we were doing a little test kind of to make sure we had the setup all good to go for doing this remote recording and everything. And we decided, hey, what the heck? We got this set up. Why don't we do a little streaming as well for a second and pipe in the Skype audio? And we played a little Kirby's Dream Land 3. That was probably what we played the most of. And then we played a little Puyo Puyo 2 and Pop'n TwinBee as well.
Nice.
Which we have uploaded onto YouTube and we have on our Twitch as well. But like, I had never played Kirby's Dream Land 3.
Ooh.
John had kind of been selling it to me, or at least, you know, hyping it up as one of your favorite Kirby games. So why don't you take it away? I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't know if it's one of your favorites.
No, well, you just did put words in my mouth. That's fine.
The words are
yeah, eat those words,
I would
John.
put it like, I don't know. There are very few Kirby games that I dislike. So yeah, I'm not saying that it's not one of my favorites because they're all my favorites. They're all my precious children.
The first one's a little limited, but it's still very precious.
It's still great though. It's a great 5 minutes.
Yeah, right.
It is wild to play that game and be like, wow, that was it.
That was half an hour. Yep.
Yeah, so just like Pikuniku.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. And actually, ironically enough, the Kirby's Dream Land 3, like art-wise, I mean, it's like Pikuniku has like a cleaner aesthetic, but it's just got that really like bright, colorful crayon kind of, I don't know. It's reminiscent for sure.
Yeah. But Kirby's Dream Land 3, like I mentioned it on the stream itself, but like it's kind of an overlooked title in the series just because it like came out at the end of the Super Nintendo's lifetime. Like
very end.
Very end, yeah.
There was already like Kirby Superstar, which like so many people like will say is like their personal favorite Kirby game, and I just think that there's a lot that Kirby 3 has to offer that doesn't really get its fair shake. So a thing that I never actually got to appreciate about Kirby's Dream Land 3 was I never really ever played it with 2 players.
Sure.
And a core mechanic of it is GUI, who is, if there's a button on the, like a permanent face button that is mapped to summoning GUI if you are even playing single player, and it basically cuts your health in half and you have this AI controlled second character. and it was always a detriment when I originally played it, because every time I would play it, I would summon Gooey, lose half my health, and then Gooey would die.
and the AI is a little bit
not
it's a
great.
little suspect. Yeah, it's not the best.
It's a Super Nintendo, like it's a very dynamic platformer with a lot of different things happening at once.
Right.
But when I was playing with Kevin online, we were doing it remote, like we didn't have to be on the same, like in the same Switch or anywhere in the same thing. Like we just had to be online together, and we were able to do co-op through Kirby's Dream Land 3, which was really fun.
So I control Bluey, and I was having a blast too, for what it's worth. I know this. I agree. Like I've always, like Randall and I, we talk about this on the podcast a lot. We're both like into retro stuff, and like between like Kirby's Dream Land 3 was always like a little bit of a higher price tag cartridge.
Yeah.
And like I'd always heard that like, this one's kind of a mediocre, it's cute and charming and whatever, but it's not the best game. But I was having a blast. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. One of my friends who was watching the stream like kept commenting that we were being very reckless when we were playing.
That's how I game, man. That's how I game.
We kept like just running through with one health and then losing. But like it's very generous with lives. So even though
it's a Kirby game.
Yep.
We were dying a lot, we still were not. We're in a net positive in terms of lives gained.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We played through the like first level and then all through the second level. And like, there's a lot of fun in that game. Like I still really
or like Worlds, right? We played about like an hour worth. Yeah. Like so we played like probably 10 or 12 levels total.
Nice.
I would say
2 bosses.
Nice.
Yeah. And I thought it was super fun. Like it more than just the art style. Like I thought it was just like, I don't know, it controlled really tight. Like I liked the little like animal additions. Like I loved there was like this little like green bird. Like you have these little animal helpers that like kind of enhance each of your different abilities. If you have the fireball power up, like when you, depending on which animal helper that you have with you, like that will enhance the ability in a certain way. And like at one point I think you had the umbrella or the parasol, John. And then that little like green bird, and like Kirby would take like a golf swing with the umbrella and like take a little chip shot with the bird, and like it would go and it would attack enemies. Like it was just
so charming.
It is like just packed with charm, but it also plays pretty solidly. I mean, again, it is a Kirby game. It's easy. If you're looking for like some kind of platforming challenge, Celeste kind of deal, you're not looking for this is not the right game for you. But if you're just looking for like a solid playthrough, especially with a friend, I mean, I was having a blast. But what's your experience with Kirby's Dream Land 3, Randall, if any?
Yeah, I do have some. I actually don't own the cartridge, which is strange for me because I do have a lot of retro carts and especially Kirby games. I think I have like almost all the other ones actually, but
I would say it's one of the few like first party Super Nintendo games that I don't have.
Yeah, same. And like I did play some of it in the past, and I'd played some of it on that, the Super Nintendo Switch Online stuff a little bit. But it's never quite grabbed me. And I guess so the helpers stuff and the animal stuff is actually introduced in Kirby Dream Land 2 on Game Boy.
Right.
And it's awesome there. And I'm like, ooh, this is cool. And it's got this kind of like watercolor effect. Although I guess I'm not totally sold on the watercolor effect. I think it looks kind of washed out a little bit.
I feel that like it doesn't have that same vibrancy that something like Yoshi's Island has,
exactly,
which has a sort of similar aesthetic and also came out kind of late. I know what you mean, but I still do. I do love it, but I know what you mean. It could use a little more.
It's heavier on the crayon. It definitely looks like it's on like a piece of white paper, so it is like not as vibrant.
Yeah, and that's what they were going for. I don't know. To me, it came off like a Kirby game that was maybe developed by the B team instead of the A team. I don't know. Like I should play it again. It's been way too long, but
there were some cool things and things that I had no idea about. And I, to be honest, I don't even know if I would have noticed if I was playing by myself. Like each level has like kind of like a character that has like each level has kind of like a little puzzle that you can solve.
In addition to completing the level.
Super different. Yeah, it's not like the same in every level. It's not like, you have to find this in every level, this one hidden item or a key. It's like, you have to return this bird back to its mother or something. I forget what they all are, but they're all like little different little mini challenges. Like in every level towards the end, there'll be like this character you'll either help them and get the little item that they give you, or I forget what you get. You get some kind of thing.
It's like a heart star
task.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I actually don't even remember that being the case, so that shows you how long it's been. So I should play it again. You know,
and for what it's worth, I mean, maybe it was something that was in the manual that came with the game or something, but it's not something that is explained, or at least, again, I just kind of just fire up a game, and I mean, I'll play the tutorial if there is one and whatever, but I just kind of breeze through it, and it might be on me a little bit.
That's same thing. I should give it more,
especially
of a
with
shot.
The retro games. I'm just, but I think, especially you and Tina, I think it's definitely something you could kind of leisurely play through. I think it's something you would enjoy if you. Again, the music and the presentation, maybe, again, I guess it's more of a preference thing on the presentation graphics wise, but like I think it's top notch. It's definitely like a top tier, super polished Nintendo title. I'm excited to play more of it.
I don't think there's any 16-bit game that looks quite like it. I'll give it that for sure.
Oh yeah, it's one of a kind. It's one of a kind for sure.
It's impressive that way.
But I guess just real briefly, we also played a couple of games that never came to America that they put on the Nintendo online service for the Super Nintendo, which were Puyo Puyo 2, which obviously there's been a million versions of Puyo Puyo that have come to America and other iterations. And then Pop'n TwinBee, which again, I think there have been some TwinBee games that have come to America as well. But what did you think of those, John? I really enjoyed Pop'n TwinBee personally. Again, it's just, all these games are just like really bright, colorful. Puyo Puyo is more of like a puzzler, competitive brick stacker, match 3 kind of thing. Or match 4, I guess technically 4 or more. Mm-hmm. And then Pop'n TwinBee is more of like a cute 'em up or a shoot 'em up. But I really liked both of them, especially, again, that online co-op is just really nice to have, especially right now. But what do you think, John?
Oh, yeah. They were both, a little bit harder to navigate because, like, the Puyo Puyo is untranslated.
Oh,
so
I was kind of surprised by that. If they're going to go to the trouble of uploading it and like putting it on the US service, I was kind of surprised that it wasn't translated at all, because they did on the Virtual Console on the Wii, like when they put stuff like Do Re Mi Fantasy and stuff like that. Like, actually, I don't know. So I think they were like partially translated, like the menu screens at least. Or
they
something.
did that on a few games. I think they did that with Sin and Punishment and some other stuff too.
Yeah. There were a few.
But it was still, though, like, we didn't have that much difficulty. We were able to get it on, like, the first try. Like, they have 2 Puyo blobs, like, next to each other. We're like, that's probably 2-player. So, like, that was easy enough. I don't think we understood what the, like, difficulty sliders were on that.
Yeah, there were, like, 4 or 5 different modes that, like, basically just had a different amount of layers of, like, blobs that were in your way.
I don't even think that was it. I think that was just as we played more matches that they put those there.
Yeah, that's true, too. Yeah, who knows?
Like, watching back, I was like, I don't know what this correlated. I think it may have been the number of, like, varieties there were of colors.
Maybe.
But, like, again, I don't know. It was just a fun time that we had together.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. But if there's other versions, like, for example, Puyo Puyo Champions is on sale right now for like $4. Or
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Machine.
Mm-hmm.
Kirby's Avalanche.
There's other
Mania.
Kirby, speaking of,
Kirby's Avalanche.
But definitely a fun game, and I really liked Pop'n TwinBee too. I like the 2 layers of like how you have like the enemies in the air and the enemies on the ground, and you kind of have 2 attacks. It's a little hard to decipher where something's in the foreground or the background, or if it's on the ground or in the air, but still super fun game. So just want to plug those services again every once in a while, because the Super Nintendo and the original Nintendo stuff that's on there, especially with that online service, is really cool.
And then TwinBee, so I just want to talk for a second about TwinBee and how damn hard it is to like shoot the bells but not overshoot the bells so you actually get the power up that you want is just so difficult in a shmup. Oh my God.
It's harder with 2 players.
Oh,
if you're hoping to get a specific power up, and then your person you're playing with just keeps shooting them.
Don't shoot the green ones. Yeah, it's and on top of that, like just having to learn, like, okay, which one? The green one's the shield, and the blue one's the power up, and the gold ones are the coins. But a super fun game, and especially
nice 'em up. Love me a
yeah,
cute 'em up.
Exactly. Well, one more game that we wanted to talk about tonight, or at least that I wanted to talk about tonight. I've put about 10 hours into the Okami HD remake for the Switch, which I think is available for just about every platform.
Yeah.
I picked up the physical Japanese version.
Me too.
Because it's region free and it just has like some super cool artwork.
Oh, yeah.
And the game is absolutely beautiful. I don't know if I played a little bit of it. I got the remake, not the HD remake, but the remake on the Wii.
Same.
Which was nice. It controlled nice. And same thing with the... I'm playing with the Pro Controller, but you can use the Joy-Cons with like the gyro to kind of paint with the brush stroke.
That's cool.
Which was nice on the Wii. I definitely did like that, but it's comfortable enough with the Pro Controller and using the joysticks. One of the kind of main mechanics is you can kind of pull up kind of freeze the screen and pull up a paintbrush, and you can draw things on the map or on the screen that will kind of do magical, whether either attacks or blow up, draw a bomb and it'll blow up a little hole in the wall or whatever.
So wait, when you're drawing, are you using the analog stick or the motion of the Pro Controller?
I'm using the right stick on the the right analog stick. But
okay.
I don't know if you can use the motion of the Pro Controller, but you can definitely
I was curious if you could or not. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I don't know for sure, but I don't think so. I think you would have to use the Joy-Con. But either way, there is gyro on the Pro Controller.
Right.
So who knows? But yeah, I mean, I'm torn here. So I was having a really good time with this game, but it's just, there's a lot of things in this game, it looks beautiful. The HD remaster looks really nice. I mean, it's still a little blurry and whatever. You can still tell it's an older game. It doesn't quite have the sharpness of Wind Waker HD.
Oh, okay.
Even on the Wii U, that just looks like, if you told me that game came out today and was brand new and never was a previous game, I'd be like, yep, I believe it 100%. Where
totally.
You can kind of see the I don't know, the datedness and but particularly not so much in the visuals. You can see it a little bit there, but in the design, every time you pick up an item, it's it's not just there's certain items that when you get it the first time, some of the food that you can pick up that fills up one certain type of sack that you have that will kind of revive you or something if you die. I forget what it's called. Mm-hmm. The pouch, the astral pouch, I think. But if you pick up a carrot for the first time, it'll kind of have a little free, you picked up a carrot, and they have a little description about it. And then it won't do that again. But there's certain items that you get that every single time you pick them up, there's a little pop-up screen that pops up, and there's just so many little tedious things, and all the cutscenes, and the story is really interesting, to be honest. I really find it fascinating, and all these different gods and all. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on, and every time you kind of get to a new kind of checkpoint or whatever in the game, you'll another constellation will appear in the sky, and you have to dot the stars that are missing, and then you get a new ability with your brush strokes. So again, I mentioned, you get bombs, or you can obviously just do a slash to do attacks. I think the most recent thing I got was I can move water. If I see a body of water, I can just draw a path from the water to wherever I want it to go.
Nice.
There's these blossoms that are sometimes floating in the air that I can draw vines to now that will launch me or kind of grab me and bring me up to them. So there's a lot of really cool stuff going on in this game, but it's just it's so tedious to get through some of the cutscenes, and so it is a little gross at times. There's a lot of humor based on I'm this, there's this little bug companion. You play as a wolf for the most part if you're not familiar with the game, and there's this little bug companion you have that is making jokes about hiding in women's breasts and stuff like that. It's just there's all kinds of weird stuff that I'm not super into, and I don't know, I'm really torn. It's a beautiful game, and it's really well designed. It's a little finicky on the controls at times. The camera, you got to kind of finick with the controls a little bit. To every time you go into battle, it'll zoom in again. You got to click the button again to zoom the camera back out and go in and out all the time. You have to constantly do that. So just again, this is the nitpick episode, I guess.
Just finding
but
yourself
I will
fighting
say,
it a lot. Sounds like.
Yeah, and the again, the cutscenes, they are interesting, so it's I do want to watch them, but they are walking me through every last goddamn step of this game, and it's it's like they're making a point 4 or 5 times, and it's super frustrating.
No, it's Xenoblade Chronicles 2 again.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. And I kind of did hit the point where after about 10 hours, I'm not going to say that I'm never going to play it again. But for right now, I am just going to put it on the back burner, and I could see myself never playing it again.
Dang.
I do enjoy it, and I wouldn't even say that I don't recommend it, because the combat is really interesting. The combination of like, you get all kinds of different weapons and abilities, and you can use your brushstrokes in the combat to do like slashes or like put little dots on the ground that will sprout trees that will block attacks of enemies. And like,
nice.
It's a really interesting and a really innovative game. No doubt about it, and it's beautiful. There are more things to praise about this game than there are to complain about them. But they're with however many games I have right now, so many games on my backlog that I haven't played. I just kind of decided I think I'm going to throw in the towel for now. And I was kind of curious.
That's valid.
Number one, if you guys have thoughts on Okami, if you've ever played it, but also like what is like your breaking point if you like hit a point in a game where you're like, I'm going to throw in the towel, like I'm having fun, even if you're having fun, but like do you have anything like that where it's like, I'm done with this game? Like, cause I'm somebody who bounces around a lot between games, but it's not usually a decision that I'm going to stop playing this game. It's usually just, I'm on to the next new thing.
Yep.
And I just forget about the old thing. But this is, do you guys ever get that where you actively like, I'm done with this?
More recently, just for lack of time otherwise, I'm just having to make hard choices. Like, yeah, I've got like a family and a kid and like a demanding job, and I'm still going to school and stuff. So like time is short. Yeah. And then, I want to be able to really enjoy video games when I play them. But if something like, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is just like chatting my ear off in a way that's not important, and then like, I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm like, I've got a bunch of other games. Let me just stop. And I think I might just be done with this. Yeah.
And it's just like, I got 80 more hours to go of this, or I could play
something
like
new.
24 other games.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I think it's a decision that I've actively made more like in recent years than I ever did in the past.
Same here.
Because like also like, when I was younger, like I didn't have as many games. Like I basically had whatever I got for whatever holiday was. So like once I got to the point where
that's a good point.
Like I had enough disposable income to like actually purchase more than one game. Like like
that's a really good point.
For
that's
a
season, very good point.
So like I think I've just put up with less that I typically would in the back, because like I remember when I got Okami when it was released on the Wii, and like I was thinking, I'm like, I don't remember any of these issues, and like I think it also may have just been a product of its time where
it really that's how it feels. It feels dated, but it's just a shame, because like I wish that the HD remaster, like if they would have just cleaned up some of that stuff, like let you, like there's certain cutscenes where the dialogue is kind of scrolling along, and it's just you're reading it, and you can hit A and it'll like make it all appear really quickly, and you can read it as quickly as you can read, basically. But then there's other cutscenes where you can't do that, and you have to, particularly when your little bug companion is talking and this little annoying song starts playing, and it's just like, it's just super it drives me nuts, it just drives me nuts. So yeah, but Okami is a great game. So like, it really is a product of its time in that regard, John. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Well, no, just that. Then I do think it was a game that I'm pretty sure I 100%ed it, which involves a ton of stuff. Like
it's a long game. Yeah.
It's incredibly long. Like I remember when I was playing it, like I think I beat like maybe the second or third boss, and I was like, all right, so the game's over. And then I was like, nope, that was like a third of the way through the game.
Yeah, I've heard that about the game, that they kind of move the goalposts a lot. Like you feel like you're getting to the end, and then it's like, oh shit, there's this whole other branch.
But
which used to be a selling point when you only had 1 or 2 games a year.
Exactly.
But these days,
God, there was a point in time where I was like, it's got to be the new Zelda game has to be over 50 hours, man. It has to be. And now I'm like, how about 15 to 20 if it's a big, and that's if it's like a big game, realistically I want like 5 to 10. Although give me that all day long.
Breath of the Wild 2 can be 120 hours again for me, and that'll be fine, but that's like a different story.
That truly is a sandbox game.
Yes.
At least the first one.
Yes.
I hope too. Yes. It's more like Majora's Mask. I would love.
I hope they lean into the vibe. Yeah,
I think they are, sweet. But like, I would love if like the difference between Breath of the Wild 1 and 2 is like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. If
that would be very cool.
A very self-contained, less explory.
Yeah.
Cool. But that's neither.
That would be cool.
Sorry.
Yeah. Welcome to the speculation cast.
That's what we do.
But we kind of keep getting sidetracked. But did you have any more to add about Okami, John or Randall, as far as like just because again, I don't want to take anything away from the game. It is truly like a work of art. Like I mean, in all regards, I mean, it truly is a beautiful game. With a lot of cool, interesting, unique, and innovative game mechanics, especially for the time. But even now, I mean, that brushstroke mechanic of like being able to do that in the world and in combat, and just being able to like manipulate the world around you. Some of it's like triggered by like, oh, here's the thing you have to specifically draw a bomb on or draw a circle around to trigger it. But like some of it is like you can just make trees wherever the hell you want to make trees. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, like
it's super cool.
Wise, I think it's an incredibly unique game in that. And like, but in addition to that, I also think it is one of the cutest games ever made. Like playing as like Amaterasu, as like just a dog that is treated like a dog. Like in every play, everyone who like responds to you, they don't see you as a god. They see you as just this white dog.
That's funny.
And like all the interactions you have are just like a dog, and it's so adorable.
Do they pet you?
Some like
no.
There's like some interactions, like if you bark at them, then they'll like react like, but like it's mostly when you're interacting with other animals as well, or like all the other gods, like. It's usually just a bunch of physical comedy every time you meet another god on the zodiac or like constellation, and it's just so cute and entertaining. And like, I actually,
except for when they do the physical comedy where they're like, "Let me burrow into your bosom for a second." It's a little bit, just a little bit
cringe. Of the time kind of gets in there sometimes, unfortunately.
It definitely has a little bit of that influence for sure, for better or worse.
It is making me want to pick up Okami Den, which is a game
I have that.
I forgot about that game.
On DS.
For DS, right? Yeah.
Because I was remembering how cute Okami was, and then, what if you were a puppy?
Yeah, like a chibi.
Just even cuter.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That controlled pretty well, too, with the stylus as well.
You think that would make perfect sense, yeah.
It did. It was a decent game. Like, I just, for whatever reason, I don't know why I put it down.
Yeah, I wonder if I didn't even think about that, but I wonder if Okami on the Switch, like if you're playing handheld, I wonder if you can like draw on the screen.
Interesting, maybe.
It didn't mention anything about that, so I don't know, but that would be cool.
That would
did offer that.
Controls on the Switch is so. I never know when a game has it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I never think to look for it, I guess, but because again, I like I mentioned before, I don't play handheld a ton, but
yeah.
But there is stuff that I've picked up like Gorogoa or something where I'm like, I haven't actually played that game ever, but I'm like, I know I will probably play that by manipulating it, actually touching the screen. You know?
It looks like there are touchscreen controls in Okami, apparently.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Good to know.
Nice.
Good to know. So
yeah.
Another way for your hands to cramp up, I suppose. But unless you got those Daemon X Machina controllers like Randall.
That's right. Those hoary little control adapters.
Those wings. They kind of look like wings hanging off the side.
They're pretty huge, but that's also what makes them comfortable.
That's the point.
Honestly.
That's the point, right? Yeah.
Yeah. They feel real good.
Nice.
No rumble, though.
That's all right. That's all right. But I think we can pretty much wrap it up there for this episode if you guys feel good.
Yeah,
sir.
Nice. Well, hope everybody's feeling good, staying healthy, staying safe and everything, and enjoying, I guess, the best that you can the situation that we're in right now and catching up on some video games. But as always, you can find us online at pursuingpixels.com. We've been a little bit more frequently on Twitch and YouTube, but you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram. Just look up Pursuing Pixels anywhere. You can pretty much find us.
Do it.
And we'll catch you next Monday. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pursuing Pixels. This is episode number 49, and my name's Kevin Portelli, and I'm here tonight with Randall Nolery.
Hey, everybody.
And John Hines.
Hey, everyone.
Are you still there, John?
Did you not get that?
You're kind of being. It's like it's a little choppy. Like you're.
I'm gonna start. Hey, everyone.
I'm gonna start this over. But like, are you getting a little choppy audio, Randy?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not getting any. But
and you seem pretty low energy there, John.
I said, "Hey, everybody, get off!"
It just like it came in. It just came in like late. I don't know. Something seemed off. I thought we lost you for a sec.
Just say and John Hines, and we'll go from there.
And fucking John, and we got fucking John here. All right.